Resident Evil Requiem is the first Resi game that I've played from start to finish. And let me tell you, I loved this game so much. It is truly an incredible game. And it's not a long game either, so it's plenty quick enough for you to play on a night after work and just blast through. It's awesome. Um, Let me explain why, if I can, I love this game so much. So first, for those who don't know, Resident Evil is basically a zombie outbreak saga. There's been 9 now main series games, a bunch of other little games, and I've played one from start to finish. I tried some of the others. I couldn't finish them for whatever reason. Anyway, this game, this one specifically, is it takes place with the main character Grace, and Leon Kennedy is also in this, and it revolves around Grace getting kidnapped, going to a location. There's more story around Grace, and Leon's there to just kind of try and help as best he can, and it progresses like that. Yeah, that's the best way I can put it without spoilers, because this game is heavy on spoilers if I mention most things, because it's extremely story driven. So just bear that in mind. Um, this is the way Resident Evil has been for a long time, and 9 does not change that mold, but it's still incredible. So let me start out a little bit with the writing, the tone and the writing actually. So this game is pretty dark as you'd expect. It is a survival horror game, and as I mentioned before, you have two main characters. You've got Grace, you've got Leon. You play as both at different points in the game, all throughout the game. So the story, the best way I can put it is Grace goes to investigate somewhere early on in the game. She then gets kidnapped to a different location, and a big chunk of the Grace's story takes place in that location. You are going around trying to find different things, whatever it might be, and you learn more about why Grace was kidnapped. You learn more about various experiments going on at this location, why the person who kidnapped you is involved. But you also learn a little bit more about Leon Kennedy and why Leon's there going after Grace. What's his deal in this? What does he want? All of that kind of thing. And as I mentioned before, the first section is almost exclusively Grace. The second section is almost exclusively Leon, with little bits of them dashed in at either side, if you like. And I would say the writing is so for me personally, I found the writing super interesting. I found it engaging. I found it really well done. The story was really well told. But as I have heard from a few different people, a few people that are more deeply ingrained when it comes to resi law and all of that kind of thing, it can be a little bit messy. I Because I don't know that much about it, I can't speak on that. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Regardless, I enjoyed it. So if you're going into this as a first time player with no information at all on any of the Resi games in the past, any of the Resi lore on any media at all, I would say you can still enjoy this to a pretty decent extent. I knew some of the backstories of various things. I knew Leon's various outings in various games and all those kinds of things, but I'm not as deeply ingrained as others. So just keep that in mind as well. Maybe you'll hate this story, maybe you won't. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the characters. Grace is the main character. You do get to play as Leon a decent amount of the game, but Leon's section also revolves around Grace. She is the main character. She starts out, she is an FBI analyst, and she is basically sent to a crime scene to go investigate a dead body, and everything just kind of goes from there. She starts out, she's very timid, she's not a field agent, She doesn't really know what she's doing. To begin with, she has a badge and a gun in a backpack. I don't know why. An FBI agent, regardless of a tech analyst, regardless of anything, if you've got a badge and a gun, why would you go to a crime scene with them still in your bag? Anyway, I digress. She starts out kind of a whimpering mess. I'll be honest with you. She's not she's not tough, she's not brazen, she's not Leon, right? She is just a tech analyst. She does not normally go in the field. It's whatever. Because of that, her gameplay sections are very they are intended to be a lot more scary because you're in first person view. The field of view is narrow, like very narrow. Like I'm talking on a scale where it normally sits at 75, 80, you're probably sitting at around 60. And it's extraordinarily narrow, but that's okay. It's intended to be that way because Grace isn't intended to be this big shot warrior that can just go take everyone out, right? She is just a regular person with some mild FBI training, and that's it. Now, granted, she does grow through the game, and towards the end, you definitely feel she's not as timid, she's not as scared. She definitely has a lot more confidence around her. She's more willing to stand up and do what's right. She's not stammering at every corner and all of this. And it's definitely it is a very, very well done arc of going from this timid little girl, young woman, all the way by the end of the story not being as afraid. And it is nice. It is a really well done arc, and I have no issues with it at all. I prefer it like that because you do get, on the other side, Leon. Leon doesn't really have a character arc. His character's pretty established. By this point, I think he's in his 50s somewhere, and he's been doing this a while, right? For years and years and years. And so when you get hold of Leon, when you play as Leon in any section, you are basically just a badass. And it's incredible. It's incredible. While there's no character arc, really, to him, the main joy you get from Leon is I have big gun, I kill everything in front of me. End. That is it. And sometimes we need that. Sometimes we need to just shut our brains off, pull out a gun, and shoot people. Zombies, zombies, zombies. Um, and that's okay, you know. And it's just the difference between them is so drastic because of how weak Grace starts out and because of how strong Leon is when he just comes into it. It fits perfectly because you can play through Grace's sections and you can struggle and try and claw your way to every little section of this place. And then you get to Leon and you're just charging through. Anything runs towards you, you just shoot it and keep running, and it's incredible. Um, but yeah, that is essentially the two. It's quite a dichotomy between the two characters. I think it works tremendously well, and I love both characters equally. And I think everyone will. I think everyone will have a pretty similar reaction to me. Now, there are some other characters, obviously, there's some villains, there's some of the side characters. Um, I won't go into them because that is spoilers, at least for some of them. Obviously, you've got the main bad guy, it's called Gideon. He's a pretty good bad guy. You learn a little bit more about why he's involved and all the reasons he's doing what he's doing and those kinds of things. No issues at all. Genuinely, I like his character. There's a couple of other villains that you come across. I like their characters. There's a couple of other allies you come across, and I like their characters too. So overall, no real issues at all with any characters. I thought they were all very well done. I thought they matched up quite nicely, and thumbs up all around. Very, very good character work in the entire game. Outstanding. Now, a quick mention on the gameplay loop. Not really quick. Um, so as I spoke about before, there are two very different styles of gameplay in this, right? Where one is great, it's very slow and methodical. You need to be careful. You're looking around corners carefully, and you're using your resources very, very sparsely because they aren't as just readily available. You don't have all of these guns and all of this equipment to just charge through. And then you've got Leon, where you do have all of these guns. Oh, and you go got everything, right? You can just do what you want. You can run through, you can blast zombies out the way and just keep going. It's no issue. It's a very, very different gameplay loop depending on who you play at the moment, or rather, it's a gameplay style. I would say the overall gameplay loop doesn't change that drastically to not just in terms of characters between in this game, but in terms of overall in terms like every game that I've seen with Resi. You know, I've watched my mates play. I've tried to play some of the other games, and they're all very, very basic. You, you know, you end up in place. You need to solve puzzle to get out of place to go to next place. You fight boss. You move on to next place after that. That kind of a rinse and repeat cycle of puzzle boss place. This isn't inherently special. There's nothing drastically unique about it. The thing is, this is done very, very, very well. And you know, the thing with cliches is that just they're a cliche for a reason. Right? This gameplay style, you could say is a cliche because it's been done a lot of times. But if you do a cliche well, it doesn't make it a bad thing. A cliche isn't inherently bad, it's just been repeated. That's fine. This is done. This it's a perfect gameplay loop for something like this. These pieces of the puzzle are forcing you to go to certain areas of the map, and you need to figure out how to get them. And you're met with enemies, and you need to get through the enemies to get the puzzle piece. Right? It's not special, but it works, and it works really well, especially in these Resi games because it forces you to the next location. It's just simple, and there's nothing wrong with simple if it's done well. Now, with that being said, there were a couple of very brief moments where I found myself not really having fun. And this wasn't so much down to the gameplay loop or even the overall gameplay of either character, but there was two sections. One was a Leon section where the difficulty spike was crazy. You end up fighting some enemies and they have guns, and just on standard difficulty, it was brutal how quick they could take your health out. Like it was super quick. And it was just a bit frustrating to, you know, I'm going through all of these other enemies. I'm taking down villains left and right. I'm dealing with everything without too much difficulty. And then I come to these guys with guns and I get wiped out in seconds. And it's just a rinse and repeat of that. And it's honestly really, really frustrating. So it didn't stop me liking the game. I got through that part and I enjoyed the rest of the game without issue. But it's pretty frustrating. I won't lie to you. Um, so you keep that section in mind. The only other section which I didn't like, I've spoke to all of my mates and they didn't like it, and I've seen online that other people don't like it, and that's the orphanage section. I won't explain any more than that in terms of what happens there, but the orphanage section I think is terrible. I didn't have fun. It's not terrible because it's scary or anything weird happens there. It's just it's not a fun section. Luckily, it doesn't last long. It lasts 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how fast you run through it. But it's not a fun section. I didn't enjoy it. I thought it was a bit crap. And I played the game through twice and didn't enjoy it either time. And I, you know, ideally, if there is a skip orphanage button when you get to that part in the game, I would love that because it is just a flashback, and you know, it's that section's not fun. But anyway, that's the only two kind of negative gameplay sections that I can genuinely think of because everything else I loved. I thought it was phenomenal. and I thought the gameplay worked really well with either character. I thought the systems were built perfectly to match the characters and to match the sections you were in, and it was just chef's kiss, chef's kiss. Now, the next two sections of my review that I normally do, so bosses and the side content, pretty sparse. I'm not going to lie to you. Bosses, I can't really go into too much because that does involve spoilers, which is unfortunate, but it does. So, bosses, for instance, I would say there's about five total if you include the smaller ones that roam the corridors a little bit. Um, they aren't, I would, they're not proper bosses, they're kind of mild, smaller bosses, but there's around five total. They're not too special. There's nothing unique about them. There's nothing overtly fun or difficult about them. They're just bosses. You just need to shoot them enough and avoid attacks. Use your parry where you can. Win the fight. Move on. Done. It's just kind of simple. It's nothing to be concerned about if you're scared of dealing with bosses, and it's nothing to be hyped about if you love fighting bosses. Just very very simple, very straightforward. The other one, side content. There isn't really anything here. Now, you can just play the game over and over and over. You can play it on insanity after you finish the game the first time. You can do speed run strats. You can do uh, runs without using any medical items. You can do runs without using any of the crafting uh, parts for grace or the blood that you'd need to craft. You can do those kinds of things. You can run it through like little challenges, and then that's about it. But these games aren't built on side content. There's nothing really there for that. It's just little extra challenges that you can choose to do if you like to do them. Otherwise, it's a very linear game. You just go and do what you need to do and move on. There's no real rewards for any side content. Even the big puzzle that's there. There's no challenge. There's a challenge reward for it, but there's nothing more than that. There isn't a trophy for it. There's no major reward. You get like 20,000 points that you can use in the in-game, like stores, if you like. That's about it. But other than that, there's not really any side content. So don't go looking for that here. It's just a single player, very linear game. Now, let's talk a little bit about the performance of Resident Evil. I don't know what they do at Capcom. I don't know if they are sacrificing all kinds of children or virgins or goats, whatever you like. But they have some mystical power within this RE engine that makes it so incredible for the performance of certain games that it is staggering. Now, this game, I don't think I had any bugs from start to finish in my, what, 11-hour playthrough of the first playthrough I did. No bugs at all. Didn't crash once. It didn't really drop any frames. I was running this on max settings, right? So it was flawless, and it's just it's a perfect engine for this style of game. Now, there are other games that have used this, Dragon's Dogma 2, Monster Hunter Wilds, both of which perform terribly. This engine is trash for open world, absolute garbage. It's not optimized at all. But when it comes to just a linear enclosed section or an enclosed game, it's phenomenal. Absolutely incredible. And it bleeds nicely into the next section, which is graphics. And the graphics, oh my god, the graphics on this game are stunning. They are incredible to look at. Now, like I said, I was running this on max settings. I was using DLSS in quality mode, but I also had frame gen on, and I had path tracing on, and I was still hitting what 80, 90 FPS with no real issue. The game looked phenomenal. Now, I, I can't even express properly how much I I love it when I see all of this new technology coming together to form a game that looks this good. You know, the characters look tremendous. The weather early on when you're walking through the street is great, where it's raining and it's very, you know, wet, and it just looks so good. The hair looks incredible now. It's crazy. All of the different, items scattered around the world, down to leaflets on a wall, or, benches or windows, whatever it might be. Phenomenal. Reflections, incredible, especially with path tracing, and the cloth physics. There is a section right at the beginning of the game where I stop as Grace. I'm watching this curtain flutter. I love good cloth physics, and man, does it look good. It's just like fluttering a curtain in the wind, and it looks phenomenal. Oh, look at how cool the cloth physics is, though. Look at this. I'm a simp for this kind of shit. Look at how cool that looks. No, I. This engine is so good for this kind of game, and it looks tremendous, and it performs incredibly well. And oh, I cannot give enough credit to this engine, to the graphics and the look and the art style and everything. The game is, it just looks phenomenal, and more than looks, the sounds. Now I don't know if this is, specific to this engine. I don't know if they have had to go away, do everything outside of the engine, and then just import a random sound file. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how they do it, but my god, the sound design and effects in this game are incredible. You know, all the way down to footsteps walking around, the creepy noises you hear scattered around you, the zombies, the guns, the know and the wherewithal to just shut down all of the sound effects the moment it gets to a tense moment, so that you really feel that fear and claustrophobia of, you've got a narrow field of view, all of the sounds drained away, and you can hear one very bad thing coming towards you, and you are about to have a bad time. And it's so well done. It's so well done. And the voice acting, oh my god. If Grace, the actress for Grace, and I'm sorry, I don't know her name, if she doesn't get nominated for best lead role, best lead female role, whatever the category is, there has been a robbery. Her voice acting is so good in this game. It's phenomenal. Whenever she was struggling early on, when she was stammering through sentences, you could feel the fear and the nervousness. And there's a section later on, and I can't really spoil it, but there's a section where it's blood curdling screams, and she is just screaming and screaming at Leon to stop doing something. And you feel the trauma that she's going through. And even early on, there's another section right at the beginning of the game where she's doing the same thing, and you can feel every emotion from this voice actor. She is incredible in this game. And I don't know if there's going to be any other game this year that comes close to that kind of voice acting. And that's not to say that Leon's bad, because he's not. The voice actor for Leon, again, I'm sorry, I don't know the guy's name, also incredible. And he doesn't have all that many, very specific or emotional voice lines. He's still very good at what he does. He's still tremendous, and even the voice acting for some of the big villains, Gideon, for example, also incredible. Like, there is there isn't a single badly designed sound in the entire game. There isn't a single bad voice actor in this game that I came across. I have no issues at all with anything to do with sound in this game. All the graphics, all the performance, all of it, flawless. Absolutely flawless. Shocked. I'm shocked. All right. So I know what's going through your mind right now. I do. I'm very good at knowing that. Who's the game for? Marky Mark, you've told us everything. You told us about the gameplay, the sound, the graphics, the performance. You've told us about the characters. You've told us how it's your first Resident Evil game that you've played from start to finish, and you told us all this stuff, but you haven't told us who would enjoy this game. Would I enjoy this game? Would my mum enjoy this game? Would my dog's brother's father enjoy this game? Maybe, maybe. I would say that the main audience for this game is anyone who loves horror, any kind of horror. Doesn't matter whether it's games or movies, TV shows, books. I don't know, CDs. If you like horror, I would say this game is for you. If you like horror and you like playing games, play this game. Go and buy it, sit down and play it. Turn the light off and just enjoy it. Get lost in this game. It is tremendous. That's not to say that people that don't like horror won't like this game. This game, I think, reaches a much wider audience for because of the two different perspectives that you get to play as. Brace, it reaches that horror element, right? It reaches that terrified, claustrophobic, nervous, just like scared to go around corners and deal with enemies feeling. Now, Leon's side, that deals with, or that gives you that feeling of, I'm just gonna go whoop ass and just go around and just take everything out. It doesn't really matter what's in my way. It's going down. Get out of my way. I'm Leon Kennedy. I'm a badass. So I would say yes. If you like games, yes, this game is for you. Whether you like horror or not, I think is almost entirely irrelevant because the story is incredible, the gameplay is really, really good, the sound's really good, the graphics are really good, the performance is really good. I would say, regardless, if you enjoy playing games, this game is for you. The horror element is an added bonus. It is, for me personally, I don't get scared at horror games. I don't get scared at horror anything. I have watched too much of it and been part of too much horror elements in my life to get scared at that kind of thing. So, for me, I wasn't scared. I was just really interested in the story. For others, that might be the same feeling. And for others, you might be absolutely terrified to go around a corner. Regardless, it's incredible. Would recommend. And as this moves on to the final verdict, as it were. And I haven't started giving out ratings because I don't know where I stand on ratings. But for instance, if I had to give some kind of rating on a scale of 1 to 10, I would easily give this a 9 out of 10. And the only reason it's not getting a 10 out of 10 is because of those two little sections, the sections that I am nitpicking over. It just they are so small, but it's small things like that that prevent games from getting a 10 because no game is perfect. I wouldn't say this game's a masterpiece, right? I would say it's insanely good. Insanely good. And it's, from everything I've heard, one of the best Resident Evils for a very, 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 very long time. Maybe even the best Resident Evil. I don't know. But it is phenomenal. So a 9 out of 10 is a very easy verdict to give it. And a 10 out of 10 if I'm feeling generous. And so I would say, as an actual final verdict from me, outside of any kind of review scores or anything like that, if you like games, just take the horror element out of it, take Resident Evil as a name out of it. If you like games, period, then this is a must play game. It is so much fun. I enjoyed my time with it from start to finish. I did a speed run of it right after I'd finished playing it. That took me about 3.5 hours. The game is so good. Every part of this game is incredible. And with only the smallest little drawbacks. Oh, there are very few games that come out where I can just be like, yeah, I'm gonna go play this and sit and play this for hours because I just want to be involved in this game and enjoy the entire thing from start to finish. And I don't care what's happening. I just want to play it. There are so few games that I can do that with now. Most games just either bore me or or just aren't that interesting, or are really fun, but they're just mindless and not not special. This one feels special. It feels special, and it's very, very, very easily a Game of the Year contender. Not just for the game itself, but for the sound design, for the game design, for the art style, all of it. This game, mark my words, unless something drastic happens, will be nominated for multiple awards by the end of this year, and it will win at least a couple. It is phenomenal. So my final verdict is to go and buy it. Go and play it. Go get your parents to buy it. Don't do that actually, because there could be kids watching. Whatever. Go and play this game. It's phenomenal. And you know, I hope that whatever game I play next, whether it's finally getting around to playing the Outer Worlds 2 or Dragon Quest 7 Reimagined or Crimson Desert, because that's coming out soon, whatever game I play next, I hope it can even live up to half of what this game was for me, because it was tremendous. And so, please feel free to jump in the comments and tell me what you thought of this game. Tell me if you liked it, if you didn't like it. Tell me what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it. You know, give me feedback on me rambling at you guys, whatever it might be. Just come and have a conversation, and we will chat and all that good stuff. And next time, like I say, it will likely be a big old open world in Crimson Desert. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.